Well, folks, as one year comes to an end and another one starts, it's a time for thought and reflection. I've been thinking about my action figure collecting experience a great deal this last couple of days, and so I'm making a video series about my hopes, my dreams, my desires, my wish list, if you will, for 2023 and beyond in my favourite lines, in the lines I'm collecting heavily. And today's video, I'm going to share some thoughts about what I'd like to see from Marvel Legends. Yes, folks, hello, welcome. I'm Chris, this is Modxtra Games and Collectibles. Welcome to my channel. And as I said in the intro there just now, today's video is all about my Marvel Legends wish list. My wants, my needs, my hopes, my desires for 2023 and beyond with regards to the line. I prepared a list of 11 things. I had to really sweat this one out because the list was very, very long at one point, but I've whittled it down to 11 things. And those 11 things are made up of kind of 5, I don't know what you call them, kind of whole line related items. And then I've got 6 characters, a wish list of 6 characters that I really want to see turning up in 2023, or at least announced so I know they're on the way, because these are characters that I am desperate to own in my collection. So please join me, stick around to hear what my 11 wishlist items are for the Marvel Legends line. And as we go along, please feel free to drop into the comments down below and let me know what your thoughts are on my list and share your list as well. Okay, let's get into it. Let's move on to number 1. Okay then, folks, getting us started. Number 1 on the list, it's going to be a whole Marvel Legends line wish list item for 2023 and beyond, and this is something that I really, really want, and I'm absolutely certain I'm not alone in this space. I would like to see Marvel Legends have a much more consistent and higher volume of accessories with their figures. 2022 has been wildly inconsistent. There's been such a disparity from figure to figure as to how much added value we get with them and what stuff is chucked in. And there is so many missed opportunities to really take figures that are sitting at a 6 or a 7, possibly even a 5 or a 6 in some instances, just to give them a bit of lift by adding some extra value and thinking a little bit more carefully about what should be included with that figure. Like, if I think through the year, Spiral's a great example. Not only did she have 4 extra arms in the first place, but you've got 5 swords and an axe with her. Awesome. That's 6 weapons and all the extra, limb action that's going on there. Or if I think of the 30th anniversary Captain America, foot stand, backing card, head swap, shield, or the effects for the shield, hand swaps, loads of stuff chucked in there, although he was admittedly more expensive by comparison. I got him in a sale, but more expensive upon release. But then Captain Carter from the What If wave, just a shield. Do you know what I mean? Oh, the X-Men animated series line, I've picked up every release in that. Wolverine, the photograph and the head swap, brilliant. Jean Grey, head swap, couple of hands. Storm, 2 hands, 2 extra hands. Cyclops, 3 hands. Morph, a head swap and some hands. It's just so inconsistent. It's so inconsistent. When you look at, I know Speedball was a very controversial figure this year because he had naught with him. It's just not good enough. It's so up and down, so up and down. Cyclops would have been an easy win, just an eye blast or a little energy wisp to the side. Just one small bit of plastic would have just lifted that figure even higher. I was happy with my Cyclops, would have lifted it even higher than it already was. And it's not as if a lot of these stuff, like power effects, for example, they don't already do anyway. I don't understand why they can't just chuck them in. There's a warehouse in China somewhere that's just got bins of this stuff lying around. It's just penny pinchy. You know what I mean? It just doesn't sit right, does it? So 2023 and beyond, Marvel Legends, I would like to see more accessories and a more consistent use of accessories with the figures. Okay, number 2 on my Marvel Legends hopes, dreams, desires and wishes for 2023 and beyond is a character this time. In fact, this character, I had high hopes we would see this character in 2022. I felt confident we were going to see this character in 22, and I was so happy because I want this character bad, like real bad. He would just finish off one of my little display ideas, perfectly. That character is, of course, Sabretooth. Yes, Sabretooth, but not just any Sabretooth. I want a big, bulky, hulking Sabretooth, like an animated one. In fact, that's why I thought we were going to get one in 2022, because when they announced the animated series X-Men VHS line, I was like, oh, come on, they've got to do a Sabretooth. And then my dreams were destroyed. They were dashed at the PulseCon stream when they said, no, we're probably going to take a chill on X-Men animated VHS releases for a while, do some Spider-Man animated releases. I'm like, no, where's my Sabretooth? So yeah, not just the Sabretooth, because they did release one last year, and it was the more kind of svelte, athletic, kind of original look Sabretooth. No, I want the big, muscular, the threatening, the intimidating, the violent Sabretooth for my collection. So yeah, number 2 on the list is a character. Give me a big Sabretooth, please. Okay then, so number 3 on the wish list. This is another one for the whole Marvel Legends line, and that is less multi-pack releases, please. Or, at the very least, less multi-pack releases that have a single figure in them that I want for my collection and a load of other figures that I'm not interested in. Just me as well. They should make decisions based entirely on which single figures I want to buy, not everybody else. But seriously though, the multi-pack thing, I don't think I'm alone in this. I do see some grumbling around and about in the socials when they announce a multi-pack release and people are saying, oh, I only want this single figure and then I've got to pick it up and then go through the pain and heartache and hassle of trying to sell on the ones that I don't want. And it's likely that the single figure in the set that they want is the more attractive one that everybody wants, which is going to be more difficult to sell the extras that they've got. So yeah, it just doesn't work for me. Like already this year, they've announced the X-Men set that's got Strife in it, and there's 4 other figures in there that I'm just not interested in at all. I just want the Strife. That's all I want is the Strife. And then they've got the 2 triple packs, the X-Men again. I'm obviously an X-Men guy through and through. I've referenced them loads this video already. That's the main focus of my Marvel Legends collecting, to be honest. But the 2 triple packs in the blue and yellow uniforms, and in one of the triple packs, they've got a Forge that I want, but I don't want the other 2 characters particularly. And then in the other triple pack, they've got a Banshee that I quite fancy, especially knowing that they're planning on some Generation X characters coming up as well. But I don't want the other 2 characters around that, so I haven't even got the Forge and Banshee in the same triple pack, and I'm just like, no, what's going on? Now, an interesting thing happened in 2022 with the Mojo-verse set. So you had the Mojo, the Dazzler, the Longshot, and then like the animated Scott Young Wolverine in it. And then there was a Mojo and a Longshot released as individual figures. And I think that is possibly the way to go, is to say, well, here's a triple pack, and the triple pack's got some extra special variant elements to it, like the liver spots on the Mojo. I'm pretty sure the more paint applications was on the one in the triple pack. And you get your cute little Scotty Young animated Wolverine, and the Longshot's got a slightly different design. So if you have forked out for the multi-pack, you're getting something a little bit extra different, a bit special. But for people like me who just wanted a Longshot, that's all I wanted was the Longshot. Well, here he is on a retro card back release, and you can buy him individually. That kind of works. So less multi-packs, or a model whereby particularly popular, attractive characters like Forge, like Wolverine, like the Forge in that triple pack. I know I'm in the weeds here on this one, but the Forge in the triple pack, even though he is specific to that particular era and that particular X-Men team in the matching uniforms, he wore that blue and yellow as just generally his X-Men uniform for a long, long time outside of the context of that specific team. So you've just got a good, solid, generically useful Forge for X-Men displays. And they've chucked him in the triple pack. Anyway, and then, to add insult to injury, they made the Wolverine a separate single release. What's that all about? So if you are interested in buying the multi-packs, you've got to... Anyway, I'm going to be long in the weeds on this one. I've got lots to say about multi-packs. Maybe there's another video on the horizon. But for 2023 and beyond, I would like to see less multi-pack releases, or less... I don't know, it feels just like the cynical manipulation of me as a consumer by putting a single, very popular character that I'd be interested in amongst some cheap knockoff repaint book stuff to fill it out and increase the price. And I'm not into that at all. Just let me get the character I want. Because now you've lost a multi-pack purchase altogether. You know what I mean? And you could have had a single figure sale. I'd buy a Stripe on his own. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. That's, what number was that? Jets' list. Number 3, less multi-packs. Okay then folks, number 4 on the list is another character that I'm adding to my Marvel Legends wish list. It's a very popular character. I'd be surprised if I'm the only person who would like a new version of this character releasing, and that is Cable. I want to see a really classic Jim Lee style Cable. Give me an X Factor Cable with big shoulder pads and pouches and stuff. I named this one in my wish list at the beginning of 2022. Again, like others on my list, I had high hopes that we'd see this one maybe in like the VHS animated X-Men line. No, was not to be, even though he appeared quite significantly in that TV show. But yeah, I just want a larger, bucked, shoulder padded, pouched up, mega gun toting Cable, please. Again, X-Men, it's my thing. X-Men is my thing. I've mentioned X-Men a bazillion times on this video. I'll mention it a bazillion times yet. My whole Marvel Legends collecting thing is about X-Men, and I want a Cable. So there's number 4 for the list. Okay, then, folks, number 5 on my wish list for Marvel Legends in 2023 and beyond is another one for the whole line that I'm confident I am not alone in hoping for, and that is better facial expressions on the head sculpts. It is absolutely shocking to me how many figures in 2022 were churned out by Hasbro that were high octane, high action brawlers and blasters and fighters in the superhero community that were just blank, bland facial expressions staring into nowhere. I don't get it. I don't understand. They must surely know that a big part of the action figure collecting experience is playing with your figures, and those of us who like displays and dioramas and photography, that's like the 4 main categories of adult collector they're going for. And yet, the number of figures that I've commented on in my Marvel Legends reviews this year, where I've gone, no, another bland facial expression, nothing going on there. It's about telling stories. There has to be a narrative about your figure. And when there's nothing going on in the face, it's so important to giving that character so much shelf presence and life and energy and dynamic. And they're just churning out too many blank facial expressions. Like my retro carded Apocalypse is a great example of this. When you look at the head swap, that angry, shouty face swap, it just gives the character so much lift. And I wasn't very happy with the body, and I reviewed it much more favourably based on how that head sculpt just kind of adds to the whole experience. Or the Roaring Beast head swap, brilliant, outstanding. Or the Gritted Teeth Wolverine, excellent, spot on. But that's the minority, not the majority. The vast majority of the figures they're churning out have just got really boring facial expressions. And there's been some figures this year I've actively chosen not to buy based on the fact that they have a really bland facial expression. One springs to mind straight away, and that's Siren. I'd have picked up Siren, but just nothing going on in the head. Her powers are like vocal sound related. How have they not even put an open mouth on it? Anyway, it absolutely does my nut in. So for 2023 and beyond, Hasbro, come on, I know you're listening. Give us more facial expressions. It is so important for the narrative, for the story that you're trying to tell with your figures. And you're failing much more than you're winning on that front. Okay, then, we're on number 6 now, and this is another character that I'm adding to my list that I want to go on my Marvel Legends wish list. It's very straightforward. I would like a new Captain Britain, please. However, not just any Captain Britain. I want the new current Elizabeth Braddock Captain Britain. I think the character design, the uniform, the character design on Captain Britain right now, since the Jonathan Hickman run began, all the House of X stuff, looks really interesting. It's a really great character. I think it would have a lot of shelf presence. I think it would be an interesting sculpt that would bring an interesting splash of colour to a kind of X-Men related display specifically. That's what I'm thinking of. But also for those out there like me who've got Union flag displays as well, I've got a little like subsection of Union flag characters like Brian Braddock, Captain Britain, and Union Jack, and Captain Carter, and who else is on there? Oh, the Spider UK. So yeah, from a personal perspective, I want my little Union flag display. But for X-Men fans, I think, yeah, she would be a great little splash of colour, an interesting little something to stand out in the middle of an X-Men display that's not kind of your traditional blues and yellows and reds and greens, you know what I mean? I think it would be, yeah, I'm just a big fan of the character. I'd like an Elizabeth Braddock Captain Britain. I don't need to keep justifying myself, do I? So there we are. Number 6, is it? I keep losing track of my numbers. Number 6. Right then, where am I up to? Number 7 now then, and this is one on the list for the whole line again. I would love to see, in 2023 and beyond, just a movement towards a more consistent book usage for their releases. I'm thinking specifically about the female figures because right now we're in a weird middle space where they're bringing a few out on the new book that, you know, with the pinless and the double elbows and all that stuff. And then they'll announce another figure and it'll be on the old book. And I'll be like, what? What's going on there? And the old book is crap. It's bobbins. It's absolutely rubbish. And I keep buying old book figures because I'm in love with the design of the figures themselves and getting frustrated with the book. The least of which is the stupid single elbow that bends back in a really weird and uncanny way. Sorry, Gene. Please don't mess with my head later. But the example that really caught my eye was the Yelena Black Widow that they announced only like last month. Was it December? Early December? November? And it's on the old book, and I'm like, what is going on? What are you doing? It's madness. Especially when I cast my eye over to the G.I. Joe classified stuff and I see what they've done with figures over there, especially the female body, like the Zorana. Brilliant. She's an amazing figure. I'm so happy with my Zorana. So, yeah, more consistent use of the book, specifically with the female figures, but I think it's a fair shout with the male figures as well. There's a lot of inconsistency. There's still a few creeping out on older books that shouldn't be. They should be on the newer books with the better butterfly joint shoulders and whatnot. It's just, yeah, I don't know what's going on. There should have been a line drawn in the sand, and designs from a certain point onward should have all been on the new bodies. I don't understand why they've put out the new books and then they're announcing figures that are on the old books. It's just doesn't make sense to me. Again, I feel that aggravation rising in me that this is Marvel Legends Hasbro penny pinching, very cynical manipulation and abuse of me as the consumer. And so stop it and just give me everything on the new, better, more improved, engineered box, please. Okay, where are we up to now then? Checks his paper. Number 8 we're up to, and this is another character request now. I'd really love to see a Marvel Legends version of Destiny from the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. My new Mystique. Oh, she's lonely. She's lonely as Mystique. She needs her partner. She needs a Destiny in her life. I've got my Pyro there. Blob's on his way. There's an Avalanche. A bit like that about Avalanche. I've still not picked him up yet. I want my Brotherhood display. I'm naming Destiny as one of my character wish lists, but I don't know about that one. He's got a very shiny helmet. But yeah, I'd love to have a Destiny to go with my Mystique, please, Hasbro. I think has there ever been a Destiny in Marvel Legends? I don't think there's ever been one, full stop. So yeah, let's have a Destiny. She has been a significant figure in the Claremont era. She had a significant role to play in the Jonathan Hickman stuff that's very popular. So yeah, give us a Destiny. Come on. Get that omission sorted out. Okay, number 9 on the list now. Is it number 9? I hope so. I've left my notebook somewhere. Number 9 on the list. It's a whole line request, this one. It's going to be very quick. Just a short section of the vid, this. I would just like to see the design team do a better job at open palm female hands. I don't know if it's just me, but the open palm female hands freak me out. They freak me out. The fingers always appear to be too long and spindly. Black Widow here is a good example. So she's got a little closed fist hands, which, as a side note, while I'm on this subject, are a bit too small. They should be, the fists look tiny and slightly disproportionate to the rest of the body. But then when I've got the open palm version, these fingers that have made this tiny little hand look enormous. They're massive. They're so long and spindly. I don't know. They've just not, like Rogue's here. That's huge. The gloveless hand for when she's touching you and draining your powers, the gloveless hand looks just, well, I don't know, it's weird. It just freaks me out. The fingers are too long, too thin, too spindly. There's always these weird little palm effects that they put in there that just oddly shaped and oddly sculpted. Is it me? I don't know. It might just be me, this one, but they freak me out. Jean Grey's, there you go, there's another one. Jean Grey, really long, spindly figures. I've got them. Quake's here, and you've got the Maria Hill hand swaps. Look at that one. Look at that one. Like a weird, big old spider thing. They just freak me out. Just do some work on your female open palm hands, please, design team at Marvel Legends, because you're weirding me out. Okay, folks, so 10 and 11 are 2 characters that I'm dropping on my Marvel Legends wish list for 2023 and beyond, so I'm just going to throw them in together now. I'm going to stay on the X-Men theme to begin with. The first character I'm dropping on the list is the classic 90s look Psylocke in the purple ninja outfit. I really want to start expanding this X-Men display even further with a classic look. I know there's been a previous version. She's quite hard to find. But an updated version on the new book would be great. I'd really love that with the extra articulation to get her into some really interesting kind of ninja moves. We know we've got the swords available as well, so that'd be awesome. Maybe with a nice kind of psychic sword effect, or the one that she did off the back of her hand. I don't know. Anyway, something along those lines to stay with the X-Men theme. But my last character I'm putting on the list is not an X-Men. X-Man, X-person, would you believe? It's the black uniform Black Widow. I want to see a highly articulated new book version of the Black Widow. An update to that character is long overdue, with a really great face sculpt as well. I think the Scarlett Johansson movie face sculpts were a bit of a disappointment, and I quite like my 80s, late 70s, early 80s one with the grey uniform, but with the more improved articulation on the new female book. That'd be great. I've heard a rumor. I feel like somebody has mentioned somewhere that there's been a leak that there's one on the way, but we've not seen anything yet. But that'd be really awesome, and that's on my wish list too. I'm a big Black Widow fan. There you go. There's my two final characters to put on the list, and there we go. 11 hopes, dreams, wishes, desires for the Marvel Legends line from 2023 and beyond. I've had my little winter festive reflect, and those are what's on the top of the list. So please take the time to drop down into the comments and let me know what's on your wish list. What would you like to see from the Marvel Legends wish list? Is there anything I've named on my list that you go, yeah, I like the sound of that? Or is there characters? Are there characters that you've been waiting for? I mean, I'm an X-Men guy, but I know there's Avengers fans out there. Let me know, is there some Avengers characters that could do with an update or have never been released to date? I'd love to know. Fill me in. Let me know from the Avengers collector perspective. Yeah, and that's it. I'm done. I'm coming to a close. So keep an eye out. There's some more wishlist videos coming down the pipeline. I think next on the list is McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse. There's one of the other lines that I'm collecting very heavily at the moment. Although I've got another one coming that's a bit more kind of generically open to a scattering of lines, but I'll get to that one. If you've enjoyed the video today, please do give us a like. Do the subscribe thing as well, folks. My stats are telling me there's like 70% of you who are not subscribed to the channel. It's amazing that you're here. I'm so happy you've come along to watch my vids, but if you can just take a brief moment to hit the subscribe button, it takes you like a second, but it means ever so much to me. And it's a great way to show you thanks and appreciation for the video content and being entertained, well, hopefully entertained by me today. I suppose if you've not been entertained, click the dislike. That's what that's there for. I mean, I don't want you to click the dislike, but that's what it's there for. Yeah, so that's it. Wrapping up. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you around these parts on the Modxtra Games and Collectibles channel sometime soon. See you later, folks.